So you just learned Flesh and Blood, and now you want to join a Blitz armory at your local game store. And while you could just buy one of many pre-constructed decks, if you've clicked this video, it's probably because you want to play Ira Crimson Haze, who comes with the Welcome Decks. And that's what this video is. Today, I'm going to give you a quick $10 upgrade guide to turn the Ira Welcome Deck into a functioning Blitz deck.
Huge thank you to all of my supporters. If you'd like to join the Chad Army, you can either become a channel member or join my Patreon with the link in the description. And if it's cards you want, you can use my affiliate link to Red Riot Games to help support me as well.
To start off, we're going to have to remove some cards from the Welcome Deck, that being 1 copy of every card and all 3 copies of Brutal Assault. This is because Blitz allows only 2 copies of every card, and Brutal Assault just isn't good. You'll also want to set aside the Autumn's Touch. As cool as it looks, we are going to be replacing them with the Kodachis, which are much better weapons for Ira. Kodachi for 1, Kodachi for 2. Those are the words that haunted everybody back when Ira dominated the Blitz format. By simply pitching a 0-cost card, you can give both of these little stabby sticks go again, shanking your opponents into submission before sending even more attacks. Moving on to the armor, for our headpiece, we're going to run the Iron Wrought Helm for the 1 block it offers. Our chest will be the Vest of the First Fist, which allows us to use things like Flying Kick when we're tight on resources. We'll run Breaking Scales as our arms for the 1 block and the potential to boost an attack, and the Snapdragon Scalers to enable go again on a few cards that don't have it. We'll also run the Null Rune Hood, Gloves, and Tide Flippers for the Arcane Barrier against heroes like Kano. As we move on to the main deck, you're going to notice that all of the attacks I added are either 1 or less cost red attacks or 0 cost blue attacks with combo. The red attacks are due to Ira's play pattern. You pitch a 0 cost blue card, you send a Kodachi, and 1 more attack. This is especially strong as life totals get low because it allows you to attack 3 times with only 2 cards in hand. And the blue attacks I've added are combo cards because they combo with other cards that I've added to the deck. Please subscribe. Okay, so anyways, on to the actual upgrades. First, we've got 2 leg tap reds. This card is 1 for 4 damage with natural go again. It is the most vanilla card that we could possibly add to the deck, but it is the exact rate of damage to cost that we want. And that natural go again is actually quite powerful. Take the second card, for example, Life for a Life. This card is also 1 for 4, but it only has go again if you have lower life than your opponent, so you're going to have to take some damage in order to enable it. But if this attack hits, you do gain a life, which is actually quite powerful in Blitz. Next up we have Snatch, which is 0 for 4 damage, and if it hits, it draws you a card. The on-hit effect is an amazing way to get an arsenal at the end of your turn, or if you still have more cards in your hand, you can use the Snapdragon Scalers to give Snatch go again. The last red attack we have is Take the Tempo, which at worst is a 1 for 5 damage card. But at best, if you've met the requirements, it can allow you to banish the top card of your deck, and if it's an attack, you can play it until the end of your next turn. This, paired with an arsenal, can allow you to have a 6-card turn, which is absolutely nuts. Now, in order to help us get to these attacks, we're going to run 2 even bigger than that reds. This card lets us poke with the Kodachi, and then when we play even bigger than that, we get to opt 3 and reveal an attack that has power higher than 1, and if it is, we get to draw a card and make a Quicken token. This is very good to enable things like Snatch and Take the Tempo, which don't already have go again. Another card to help us with this problem is the attack reaction Razor Reflex. This can do 2 things in this deck. The first is that it can give a Kodachi +3, and don't ever do this. Unless it is literally to kill your opponent outright, don't ever use it on a Kodachi. Instead, you want to use the second effect, which is giving an attack action that costs 1 or less +3, and if it hits, it gets go again. Again, cards like Snatch and Take the Tempo don't naturally have go again, so this is a fantastic way to ensure that they hit, they get their triggers, and you can still continue your turn. Okay, so in order to actually play all of these aforementioned cards, we're going to need to add some resources to the deck. So we're going to add in 2 Flusterfist, Crane Dance, and Rushing River Blue. All of these cards are essentially the same. They enable your Kodachis, and you can use the Breaking Scales on them if you have to attack with one of them. But we're specifically using cards with combo in order to enable the card Flick Flack, which is your defense reaction. The 2 red Flick Flacks are your main defensive card, blocking for 4 themselves, and they then give a card with combo a +2 defense if you block with it later down the combat chain. And even the blue Flick Flacks come in handy when it comes to blocking. Against a hero like Fi, the blue Flick Flack can block something like a boosted Phoenix Flame, and then later down the chain stop that Lava Burst for 5 with one of your combo cards. And that's it, that's the deck. Ira might not be at the absolute peak of Blitz as she once was, but she is still a very strong hero and is really, really good on a budget. She's also a very open-ended hero, so you'll have a lot of fun trying out a bunch of different cards and strategies with her. So hopefully this video helped you out. I hope you've been enjoying Flesh and Blood, and I wish you the best of luck at your next Blitz armory.